Good morning, you wonderful, beautiful people. What a lovely little bit of news to start the day. According to reports, it looks like Bernardo Silva could be at Manchester City for the 2022-2023 season at least. And I'm very happy to wake up to that. I'm still drinking my coffee. Literally got my coffee on the go this morning. And I'm very, very happy about this news, honestly. Good morning to everyone who's already here in the chat as well. Who's here? We got Buster, we got Mark, we got Darcy, we got Max, we got Hassan, we got Manamela, football speaker, and everyone else, Christopher. This is really lovely little bit of news. Now, I'll jump over to the aggregators in a second. I would like to say very quickly that this video is sponsored by the wonderful people over at OneFootball. Please do me a massive favour and download OneFootball by clicking the link in the description below. It does help support the channel. And it's where you can get all your Manchester City transfer news and all the stats and information from across the game. Not just Manchester City, Barcelona if you want to, Bayern, Arsenal, whoever you want to follow. You can do it over on OneFootball right now by clicking the link in the description, downloading the app that over 10 million people downloaded for the big cost of absolutely nothing. I've been using it for like 5 years. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. What are you waiting for? Go and download OneFootball. As beautiful as a Bernardo Silva shift in midfield. It really is that good. Thanks very much. So let's jump over to here. Let's jump over to the quotes. So according to Oliver Kay, it looks like Bernardo Silva is now understood to be focusing firmly on the season ahead with Man City. The past few days have brought a softening in the player's position and an apparent willingness to forget about a move, at least for the coming season. Bernardo is ready to commit his immediate future at Manchester City and abandon any thoughts of a transfer this season at least. Tell me that isn't like the most lovely news that you wanted to hear. To be honest, there was some rumours as well going around on the forums, with the in the knows and so on, that City were really adamant that they didn't want to sell him and that actually they were going to offer him a new contract. It doesn't mean he'll sign it, but apparently we've offered him an absolute big new contract, which is really, really interesting. I mean, imagine if he stayed. Hello to Mr. Egg Solar as well in the chat as well, another member. Imagine if he signed a new contract as well. But I think this is true. Now, Oliver Kay, if you don't know who Oliver Kay is, Oliver Kay is a senior football writer at The Athletic, so he's got a decent rep there, Oliver. I do think there's something in this personally. I think this is not just waffle. I do believe that this is actually likely true. To me, the reaction that he got at the weekend. So once again, big love to all the Bernardo chants at the weekend. I think they've really, really helped him realise, what? It's not too bad here. I do want sunnier climates. And I do want to go somewhere with my, with my beautiful, is he fiance? My partner, and live on the beach somewhere or whatever. Or somewhere sunnier. But do you know what? Manchester City, this is the best club in the world. They've got the best team, which he's always felt. I could do another year here at very least. I honestly do that. And it was obviously KDB's quotes the other day, as Aravind just pointed out in the chat. KDB saying the other day, I think he's going to stay. He will stay. He is staying, or whatever it was. It was something really blunt like that when KDB came out and just nope, Bernardo, you sit down, young boy. You are not going anywhere. It was essentially that, wasn't it? And I do think this is actually true. And to me, obviously, this is lovely news. This is really, really... It was important news. It's important news because Bernardo Silva is a player of unique qualities. He's just a phenomenal footballer, a very gifted, versatile player, and essentially one of the best in the world. It really is simple as that. Now, why would this be happening? Why would Barcelona not be going for it? Look, you got to look around and look at the landscape, and I think what's going on here is a situation where Barca clearly want him. I think he probably would go to Barcelona. We know this. We're not stupid. I'm not naive. But I think this is one step too far, and they simply probably cannot afford what Manchester City are asking. And I think City are asking, rightfully so, for at least 80 million sterling, like £80 million. And I think that's absolutely fair. Bernardo Silva is currently a Ballon d'Or nominee. I think he's been a multiple Ballon d'Or nominee now, at least 2. So that says it all about the quality of this midfield that we've got. He's quite simply one of the best midfielders and best players in world football. You cannot sell a man of his quality for anything less than £80 million. I mean, it'd be 100 million for me. But I guess the point I'm making is City have set a very high valuation, and it's rightfully so. City can rightfully point around the market and go to Barcelona. We are not being awkward here. There is a fair market value. And you have to go for it. And the market value for someone like Bernardo Silva, well, Nunez is just going to, even him. Yeah, even Liverpool guy Nunez, 80-odd million there. But I was on about Mateus Nunez, who's going to Wolves for 50-odd million. And he's very unproven, nowhere near the level of Bernardo Silva. Good footballer, don't get me wrong. But he's going for 50 million. You got Cucurella going for 60 million. Chelsea is snooping around for Fana for 80 million plus. Like, look, there is absolutely no way Bernardo is worth anything less. Well, in my eyes, he's worth 95 to 100 million. But City have fairly said we want 80 million plus. Barcelona, they just simply can't go near that. All those stories leaked from the likes of Gerard Romero, and I'm saying this from someone who does the same thing. He's a Twitch streamer. It's as simple as that, man. But I'm not pretending to be inside know it all, you know what I mean? There's a difference. But all those stories saying that they would agree a deal for around 40 million quid. What the fuck was he smoking? Absolute nonsense. Genuinely nonsense. It was never, ever going to be anything like that. Yeah, look, Ant from the Leicester fan channel, go and check them out, by the way. Ant said, look, if we're getting 85 million for Fofana, then Bernardo's a 100 million player. Look, no cap spoken now, man. Like, absolutely true. Bang on true. And it's just like, Fofana's a good player, and let's be honest, Fofana's not an 85 million pound player, but the market's that crazy. And the thing is, like, in this instance, Bernardo is one of the best in the world. 50, 60 million. God, Darcy, that was absolute nonsense, wasn't it, mate? It really was. Like, look, the market's dictated this, and City aren't being unreasonable. The good thing is, once again, this goes back to what we discussed many, many times about how Manchester City treat players with maturity. They treat them like adults, and they say to them, look, you know, you can go if you want to, but we are still a business. We still invested an awful lot of money, and we still are playing. We will treat you like an adult, but you have to make sure the bid that we're getting in is fair. City actually don't go, you got to give us 150 million. City actually give a relatively reasonable, cheap market value for all things considered, but it's still good money that they get. They always make sure they get good money. And, like, look, 80 million is still too cheap, but it's still good money. It's one of the biggest transfers of all time still, you know? So, in that instance, Man City would be like, that's a fair V. Like, Bernardo would look at that and go, do you know what? That is actually really fair. Like, Grealish was 100, you know, Fofana's 80, Maguire 80, and Pogba. Like, you would actually go... City are being reasonable there. So basically what we do is we give a high fee, but not an insanely high fee, but still a relatively decent one and a mature one. So we go, we'll let you leave, but just for a decent fee. And that is a decent fee. It's not a high one, it's a decent one. And basically, but what we got is a situation where Bernardo's like, City aren't standing in my way here. They're not being unreasonable. I am worth that because I am one of the best players in the world. He knows he is. And there's nothing he can do. So essentially, we cornered them with reasonable behaviour and adult behaviour and niceness. And I really like that, man. I really like it. I think it's a really smart way of doing it. And what do you get as a result? You get a situation like we've got now that if he stays, which I think he's going to stay personally, you've got a player who's he's not burned any bridges with anyone. He's like, I think everyone knows why he potentially wants to go. Look, some people just want to live somewhere nicer. With all due respect to Manchester, I've lived there all my life. It is a bit of a shithole sometimes, you know. I love Manchester, don't get me wrong, but there's a reason me and Nicola moved half an hour outside Manchester to get some green spaces, because it's a city and it can get a little bit oppressive every now and then if you're a bit of a traveller and stuff like that. So I get it, you know, like, I get it. I absolutely get it. The thing is, he's dealt with it like... he's dealt with it maturely, and I honestly do believe the love that he got from the fans when he came on. They were singing Bernardo Silva constantly, and the way that he walked around and got applause from all four corners of the stadium. To me, that was really telling, man. It was absolutely huge for one. Like, it showed how much he's loved, and it showed as well things aren't that bad really. I also don't think. I think it also helps, by the way, the weather's been really nice for the past week. Like, it's a little bit of weather, and like he's probably in a very good mood. The weather's been really nice. City have started the season really well. He's enjoying his football. He's realised, you know what, things aren't too bad here. Actually, maybe life isn't that bad, you know. Maybe it isn't that bad, and it isn't. That's the thing. It isn't that bad for him. Like, look, I understand if he wants to go, but it's not the end of the world if he stays. Patrick with putting the knife in, just twisting it. I love it, Patrick. Says, Barca's so poor they can't even pay attention. Dink. Patrick, big fan of your work. Big fan of the Burting there. Lovely stuff. The broke alone, man. Look, to be honest, look, it isn't over yet. It isn't over yet. So before this video could be thrown back in my face, but I'm reasonably confident that it really is as simple as this, man. I just got a feeling like that he's going to stay. I think that there is a lot of legibility in this, and I think it makes sense for everyone. I wouldn't be surprised if he does leave eventually. I can't see him signing a new contract, but you know, but in this instance, I do think there's a lot of justification for this. It doesn't really seem to make sense. I can't see how they afford him at the price that we're paying. I think at this point right now, I wouldn't be surprised. Look, there's been loads of reports as well for people saying City want near 100 million, like near 100 million. I wouldn't be surprised if the later it goes in the window, the price, in my opinion, should go up. It should go up the later the window goes, because simply we do not have time to replace him. And look, we can't really complain, can we? If that happens, Barcelona can't complain. Guys, do me a massive favour, by the way. Let's get those likes up on this video. 1 like equals 1% more chance of Bernardo staying at Manchester City. And also hit the subscribe button while you're at it. But yeah, I do honestly believe, this instance, City hold the cards here. And the cards are reasonable and they're mature. And I think Bernardo will hang around. And look, this is massive for our squad depth. I mean, all of a sudden, this window, it ends up being pretty good. It's been pretty damn good. I kind of wish we'd had a more... Do you know what would have made this window perfect? Probably a more senior left back as well as Gomez. Gomez to be, a player around the squad and so on. That's not happened, unfortunately, and it is. I still think the squad is a tiny bit light. And DJN1 has just said, "Is this our best squad ever?" It's a very good question. I don't think it. Maybe not. We'll see. I don't think it is. I think it's a little bit light, but it's a very good squad. And is it a squad that could win us an awful lot of trophies? Absolutely. I really believe that. I'm going to do a video later, actually, and record it, analysing our squad depth and looking at it and looking at the various options and so on. I'll do that later, because I think we are getting to the point where our squad is probably settled now. In terms of pure quality, for what it's worth, it's a really high level squad. I think it is a very high level squad, but we don't know if it's our best yet because we haven't seen it in action, and see how it goes. But yeah, of course, as well, the good thing about it is Bernardo is, I think there's a little bit of a humbling as well. Not a humbling as such, but look, we watched Gundogan be excellent and become the captain of the team for the last couple of games. Bernardo's been on the bench, and I don't think that's probably, not that he's needed it, but I guess it also shows just how good this Manchester City side is. And if I was him, I'd be like, God, this team's good, I could win an awful lot with this Manchester City side. And I think largely, he's happy at Manchester City. I don't think he's happy in Manchester, but I think he's happy at Manchester City. But as he did say, he said in interviews, he can travel an awful lot more now. And I wouldn't be surprised if the players are allowed to go away for breaks whenever they want to, just to get a bit of, energy in the legs and so on. Get on the beach somewhere, just chill on a hot beach somewhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's allowed to do that this season, and players are in general. But he can travel. He can jump on an EasyJet flight anywhere now, or Ryanair. I'm sure he can afford a little bit more than that. But he can go anywhere around Europe now within hours if he has a day or two off. And I would be doing that if I was him as well, if I had his money. So I do think he's probably broadly a lot happier, which is good, man. He deserves to be happy, and everyone deserves to be happy. And I do think the way that Manchester City deal with it... it's all good. Yeah, Hamza just said, Haaland was literally in Spain a day ago. That's what I mean. I think Bernardo would have been doing the same. And I do think this is something in it. Once again, the in-the-nose and the forums are talking about it being a thing. And look, I'm really relaxed about this. I think this is a good bit of news. And I think the squad is looking very, very strong. And we haven't forced Bernardo to stay. They haven't forced him to stay and all this kind of stuff. We've just told him maturely that this is what's going to happen. And if we'll respect your wishes. But it's just such a smart way of dealing with it. Such a smart way of dealing with it. We've got now a Bernardo Silva that stays, who is happy, to stay. Look, there's a lot they say in life in general with people. If you give a player, a person in any situation, be it a kid in a school or a millionaire footballer or just your colleague at work, if you give them a chance to feel like the decision has been made with them and that they're part of the solution as well, people tend to react more maturely to it, if that makes sense. So it largely for Bernardo right now, there's an element of he's been involved in this at every level. He hasn't been told to sit down like a child in the corner and no, you're not going anywhere. He's got no reason to kick out against anyone, and he understands it. And ultimately, he'll feel like he's made the call for himself, which is good, because it means he's a happy man. There's a lot of very clever psychology at this play here. It's almost like Guardiola is an expert in managing the squad, and Guardiola I think Guardiola's man management is really underappreciated, by the way. We've got a guy in our house now, a lovely gentleman called Tony, who's decorating, helping us decorating. And the amount of chats I have to him every morning about how United are an absolute mess and the man manager over there is terrible, and it makes you really appreciate how look what we're going through right now, with City. We've got an absolute masterclass of managing the squad and looking after players and making them feel responsibility and maturity as a team and looking after each other and a close knit group. That is invaluable. We don't really often appreciate that enough. And Guardiola is a big part of that. Guardiola, gets all this praise for being a great tactician and a coach. Absolutely merited. He's a genius. He genuinely is a genius. But I don't think we often look at the man management side of it. I think he's honestly 10 out of 10. I think he's 10 out of 10 in every single area, Guardiola. Like, he knows exactly how to balance his squad. In his eyes, having happy faces around and looking after the players and knowing what to say publicly, when not to say it. I think he's absolutely brilliant at it. I consider, I like to think I would be similar if I was coaching. I love the people side of life in general. It's the only thing that matters in life. Literally, people are everything. And I think Pep is absolutely bob on with how he deals with this, absolutely spot on. So people saying, how do you know he wants to stay? Odin, I'll jump over to the quotes again, mate. But it's obviously rumours going around, but I do think it's true. It comes from the senior reporter over at The Athletic, Oliver Kay. Let me jump over here again and show you, mate. There we go. He says, Bernardo Silva is ready to commit his immediate future at Man City and abandon any thoughts of a transfer this season at least. Bernardo is now understood to be focusing firmly on the season ahead with Man City. The past few days have brought a softening in the player's position and apparent willingness to forget about a move at least for the coming season. Yeah, so there we go, man. They're the rumours, and I think the key words there are these here. I think these are really, really relevant. I do think they're relevant about the past few days. I do think it's a reaction to the fans at the weekend. I do think it's a reaction to reading the landscape and understand that the club love him and want him to stay and that he's got it good. Sometimes you have to go, do you know what? I kind of wish I had a slightly nicer house or whatever somewhere. But a report suggests yesterday as well that he's moved out of the city centre, which has got to be good for him. I hope he's moved somewhere leafy where he can go. He should have moved to Ramy, man. Bernard, if you're watching this, come up here. Me and Nicola will walk you around some of the country parks and stuff. He should have come here. He should have, I would have showed him some nice, fresh places to walk around and stuff. But apparently all the reports suggest he's moved out a little bit of the city centre, which is good. Very good news, and we'll that's what he needs. He needs some fresh parks to walk his dog, somewhere pretty with some nice views. He needs to get near the hills. Absolutely does. Darcy said as well, Pep knows how to keep superstars happy unless she's Latin. Latin's just, look, you can't look. I apologise for my language, but there's a famous quote in Game of Thrones where, what's he called? I forgot what he's called, but I forgot. He's the but basically, I think it's Rob Jerome, the actor, and he essentially goes, "There's no cure for being a cunt," and I always think of that with people like Zlatan. There is no cure for that. Like, some people are just knobheads, and I think unfortunately that's what Zlatan is. And there's no cure for it. He's talking about Joffrey at the time, I think. And it's true. There is no cure for that. Some people are just not very good people. When people like Zlatan, he's a phenomenal footballer. And each to their own, but Zlatan's just, he's a sane God complex. He thinks he's above everyone else. He's an absolute knobhead. Of course he is. I'm sure, people like that. Of course they don't blend very well, Of course they don't blend very well with Guardiola, where he's all about humility, sacrificing yourself for the team, and all that kind of stuff. And Guardiola has to be the boss, William Dittmer with a super chat. You like the guy Jamie Carragher told to show up. That is me, citizen. Yeah. I told him to fuck off for what it's worth as well, Carragher. I got him back. You got to remember that. William said, "Hi Stephen, I want to make me love City even more than I already did, and helping me to not care what all the Ravels say. City forever." Well, there we go, man. Who cares? Who cares what the Ravels? I don't know what the Ravels are. I don't know. The Revels, aren't they those sweets? I don't know. But either way, we'll love City more, William. Absolutely, always. We're a great club, well run, and brilliant stuff. Big love for the super chat, mate. Absolutely appreciate it. But I don't give a shit what people say. City forever, indeed, man. Always. But this is good news. This is wonderful news. Look, I understand there'll be Swedish. Revels are elite. The Revels are elite, actually. I understand there'll be Swedish people watching this, and I don't really I know you're Bobby Zlatan fans, but you can be a fan of the player, but also realise because he is. No, William, not mocking you at all, William. Don't worry, mate. But I really appreciate it. But yeah, this you support a wonderful club, William, and you'll keep enjoying it. Rafa Bernardo, new contract with 100 million release clause for teams outside the Premier League. Martin, I don't think that's a bad idea. I actually don't think that's a bad idea. I wouldn't be surprised if there is that. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. The only thing is, I'd be surprised if he signed it. Some reports suggest that when he got his extension, I think he joined on around 100 grand a week, and then he's on around 175 or something like that. Currently, I wouldn't be surprised if City put him up to 275, 300 or something like that. He deserves it. Absolutely deserves it, in my personal opinion. Like, I honestly do believe, like, given, excuse me. I tell you what, when you're drinking coffee at the same time and do videos, occasionally that happens. It's hard not to. A lot of air going in and out. Mark saying, is that our business fine done for the season? Mark, I think it is, mate. Thank you so much for the super chat. I would think so. I don't think we're signing anyone else, and I don't think anyone else is going personally. It would make no sense to me. We can't get a replacement of the quality that we need. Absolutely zero chance. And I think Bernardo, time is ticking away. Time is massively ticking away, so I can't really see it. But going back to what I was saying a minute ago, yeah, I do think Bernardo's worth the money, and I wouldn't be surprised if they give him a sweetener, say, look, here's an extra $100,000 a week, which he deserved and is warranted. We'll put a release fee clause in there for you if you want to go, and so be it. You know, if he wants to go, we'll respect it. And that's how it would be. That's how it would be. So I think it's very good news. It's lovely news. I do think this is pretty much the end of that. Thankfully. But guys, let me know down in the comments. I'm going to end this video because I've got a lot more videos to make today. I've got loads of stuff to do. And there will be a video coming on later today, potentially, about City's squad balance. So hopefully that'll be up later. But this is lovely stuff, isn't it? Go watch my reaction to the Sergio Gomez news. And of course, I did a video a few days ago, which is where I did everything you need to know about Sergio Gomez with Christophe Terreur, the Belgian journalist. You're all awesome. That was a bit. I'm going to finish my coffee actually. It's a bit cold now, but I'll finish it anyway. Give this video a like. One like is one Bernardo staying or something. I don't know. Whatever kids say on YouTube. For now, yeah, have a lovely day. Catch you all very soon in a bit. Bye bye. Subscribe.